Hey everyone, just a quick one today on Heatwave, a new article by Arthur Hayes. And just a quick refresher, if you don't know who Arthur Hayes is, he used to run BitMEX, and he now runs a fund called Maelstrom, which is invested in a couple of things you might know of: EtherFi, Pendle, Thena, and a few other smaller projects. But I was more interested in a specific part of his article, just near the bottom, here we go, Bitcoin halving, and he talks about risky assets around the end of April. So I highly suggest you go read this whole thing. I'll put a link to this in the description, but the bit I'll be focusing on is just this bit here. He talks about the risky period for risky assets is between April the 15th and May the 1st, because specifically for America, this is when people have to pay tax, which he argues removes liquidity from the system. And after the 1st of May, it's apparently back to regular money printing. So I thought I'd backtest that. So I've just got my Bitcoin chart here, and I'll turn on the colored boxes, because this basically shows the 4-year cycle. So we got blue, green, red, yellow, blue, green, red, yellow, blue, green, red, yellow. And this basically just shows each part of the 4-year cycle. So green, super up, red, super down, yellow, usually sideways to a bit up, blue, pretty up, green, mega up, and repeat and repeat. And I'll just turn on my halving lines here. So these orange lines are basically when the halvings are, and as we can see, next halving probably coming up in about a week or two from now. So now to make the screen a bit of a mess, let's turn on backtesting mode. So if we take a look back at the most recent one, I've just plotted from the 15th basically to the 1st of April. So the most recent one on the 24th of April 2023, we can see Bitcoin started around here. It did get to a low of about 11%, but finished on the 1st at about 9% down. Going back to the next one, this is in a red year. See, started around here and finished about 7% down. All right, so that's 2 out of 2 so far. How about the next one? Well, this was in a green year, but also an interesting year, where we started on the 15th up here, had a big dump down 25% and did recover, so we're only about 15% down, but I'm gonna say that's a 25% dump. Going back even further, we're in a blue year now. This one I'd say is a bit of an anomaly because this is right after the COVID crash and we were basically up 23%, but I'm not really going to count this. Going back to the previous yellow year, this is 2019, and we can see we were basically flat. 15th started around 5,100 and finished around 5,100. So technically down 2%, but I'm going to say that's flat. Going back to the last red year, this was in 2018, got from the 15th to the 1st of May, we're up 10%. Now you could say there was still the dump of 6%, but we did finish on the 1st, basically up 11%. Going back even further, we can see this is in 2017, big fun run, and from the 15th to the 1st, we're basically up 17%. And I wouldn't really say there was any dump here. Now going back to the last blue year, this is in 2016, and we can see not really a dump here either. Basically started at $428 and finished around $450. And it did technically dump, but still higher than the 15th. Now if we go back even further, last yellow year, now we're in 2015. This is a bit more of a rocky road. I'd say it is kind of flat. Technically we finished up 3%, but from the 15th, if you did try to trade it, it would have been down 4%. But then again, finished on the 15th of May, up 3%. Going back to 2014, this is in a red year. This was certainly a bit bigger. On the 15th, started around $530, finished around $420. So basically a dump of 20%. And the further you go back, the less it kind of matters, because Bitcoin was a lot more niche back before 2015. But just a test anyway, we'll take a look. So from the 15th, we technically finished up 24%, but there was a dump of 40%. Going back even further, this is a bit more wiki, so I'd say this is flat. And the last one, back to 2011, we were up 242%. So if we take a look overall, we can see that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times when the price finished lower on May the 1st, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times when it finished higher. But there are still 2 things to consider. First, we've got the ETF, allowing boomers to buy Bitcoin, which in theory would push Bitcoin higher than normal. But we are right at the halving, which is typically when it dumps. And we can see just around the last halving, we did technically dump about 15%. Halving before that, that was in 2016, and just a bit before and after the halving, we're down basically 40%. The one before that, kind of flat, but we did technically get a dump. This one, I'd say pretty much flat. So what happens in the next few months? I have no idea, but what I am going to continue to do is to buy and hold.